Iran in prophecy, from Genesis to Revelation. In today's global discourse, Iran consistently commands attention. Its nuclear ambitions, geopolitical maneuvers, and secret alliances shaping international concern. Yet, few realize that Iran's narrative predates modern history, intricately woven throughout the Bible under its ancient name, Persia. From the book of Genesis to the apocalyptic visions in Revelation, Persia's story is divinely chronicled. Its origins, its divine appointments, and its foretold destiny. Biblical origins of Persia. Persia's beginnings trace back to the aftermath of the Great Flood. In Genesis 10, the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, gave rise to nations that shaped the world. Two of their descendants, Madai, son of Japheth, and Elam, son of Shem, are identified as progenitors of the Medes and Elamites, respectively. These groups settled in what is now Iran, Elam in the southwest near the Persian Gulf, and the Medes in the northern mountainous regions. Elam emerges early in biblical history as a formidable power. Genesis 14 recounts the first international conflict. 4 eastern kings, including Chedorlaomer of Elam, waged war against Canaanite kings, capturing Lot, Abraham's nephew. Yet Abraham, with only 318 men, overcame the mighty coalition, underscoring a central biblical theme: no earthly power can stand against God's favor. Persia as God's instrument. Centuries later, God used Persia not as an adversary, but as an agent of divine justice and restoration. Through the prophets Isaiah and Jeremiah, God declared Persia's role in punishing Babylon and later in liberating his people. Isaiah, writing over a century in advance, named Cyrus as God's anointed, who would decree the rebuilding of Jerusalem's temple. These prophecies unfolded with remarkable precision. The Medes and Elamites united under Deioces, followed by the rise of Cyrus the Great, who conquered Babylon in 539 BCE without a battle. This pagan king not only allowed the Jewish exiles to return, but also financed the temple's reconstruction, fulfilling divine prophecy. Daniel's visions and Persia's rise. In exile, the prophet Daniel received visions that shaped eschatological theology. He interpreted Nebuchadnezzar's dream of a statue composed of various metals, identifying the Medo-Persian Empire as the chest and arms of silver. A later vision portrayed Persia as a bear with 3 ribs, symbolizing its conquests of Lydia, Babylon, and Egypt. Another vision depicted Persia as a 2-horned ram, ultimately overtaken by a goat from the west, a prophecy of Greece's swift conquest under Alexander the Great. These symbolic visions highlighted Persia's transient supremacy and divine purpose. Though powerful, Persia was merely a chapter in God's unfolding plan. Esther, divine preservation within Persia. In the Persian capital of Susa, the biblical narrative takes a personal turn with Queen Esther, a Jewish orphan elevated to queenship. She courageously thwarted Haman's genocidal plot against the Jews. Her story reveals Persia once again as a sanctuary and protector of God's people, illustrating how even secular empires can be vessels of divine will. Persia and the birth of Christ. The New Testament briefly returns to Persia's spiritual legacy. In Matthew 2, wise men, magi from the east, likely descendants of Persia's priestly caste, follow a star to worship the newborn Christ. Their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh symbolically recognize Jesus as King, God and sacrificial Savior. Their journey underscores Persia's enduring role in affirming divine revelation, Persia's role in the end times. Yet, Persia's final biblical appearance is foreboding. In Ezekiel 38, it is named among the nations in the Gog and Magog coalition, which will rise against Israel in the last days, alongside nations believed to correspond to modern Russia, Turkey, Libya, and Sudan. Persia, Iran, will face divine judgment. The coalition's destruction by God's supernatural intervention affirms that no alliance can succeed against his people. However, in a remarkable twist, Jeremiah 49 offers hope. In the last days, I will restore the fortunes of Elam. This prophecy suggests that even after judgment, Persia, Iran, has a path to redemption. A nation between judgment and grace. Iran's prophetic arc mirrors humanity's, created, chosen, rebellious, judged, and yet still within reach of redemption. From its early presence in Genesis to its inclusion in Revelation's final war, Persia plays a pivotal role in biblical history. It has stood as both deliverer and destroyer, exalted by God and warned of his judgment. As headlines echo the tension of our time, many wonder whether modern Iran is fulfilling its prophetic destiny. The Bible reminds us that no nation is beyond God's reach, and that divine grace often follows divine justice.